Hi, I'm Annie Painter with Annie Painter's Art Institute. Welcome back. I have a terrific project for you today, something that I developed. It's really a practice project for even really early childhood kids or all the way up to adults to teach you a few elements and principles of design that you can use forever in your artwork. What we're going to do today I call hiding in plain sight. We're going to make these gorgeous plant panels. But the hiding part is that on every panel is a bug with all the real insect parts. So if you joined me on the video where we made beautiful tooled papers, you have materials that you need to do this project. I'll show you how to do it for early childhood and for more advanced kids who have no trouble folding and making a design, half a design for symmetry. So here are the materials you need. You'll need to have a piece of beautiful tooled paper. I have a piece of the tooled paper up here. Make it 12 by 18 or a little bit less. And then 2 pieces of black 12 by 18 construction paper. That's all you need in the way of paper. Then you'll need to have a black crayon, some white school glue, and some scissors. And it's good to have small scissors. School scissors are fine. I have my favorite small scissors here. And the job we're going to do involves the following. You're going to make a positive, symmetrical plant form, but you're going to save the scrap, which we call the negative space, or the hole from which we took this plant. So we're working with these elements and principles of design. Positive shape, negative space, the hole in the design. We're also working with color families, so whatever tooled paper you made, you may be choosing the greens, or maybe you're choosing the oranges and reds, or maybe the violets and blues. In this case, obviously, the green family, the violet family, and over here I'm going to be using the orange family. So let's get started. What I'd like to do is to start with the early childhood flower. Do you remember the kind that we made, or if you have kids or students that are drawing schematic flowers with a big circle and the petals and the simple leaves? This is the way I decided we'd teach this to the youngest children, because it's really hard for them to imagine half of something. And if you look over here with me, this is what's necessary for the more advanced version of this project, is that you have to kind of understand what half of something looks like in order for it to become symmetrical. Well, that's tough for lots of us, and especially for little kids. So what I did with them is I had them folded in half so we can mark where the center line is, but then just go ahead and draw the flower that they love to draw. Simply keeping a border of a couple of fingers width all the way around so we can keep our scrap. So let me try it for you. A big circle for the center, some beautiful petals. Notice they're not symmetrical at all. And we have a center line here, so we're going to make a nice fat stem. And then I think I'll put a leaf on that side, and another one here, and maybe one big one here. And maybe another circle in the center. So that's a pretty typical little kid leaf or plant. Now we're going to fold it and pick whichever side we like. And once we cut it double, it's symmetrical, just like this piece right here, which is an early childhood piece. So let me show you. I have one started. We're going to need to take it so that we be sure we have stem, and I love the side that has 2 leaves. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start cutting it, and you can put a clothespin there if you want to make sure the kids remember which side has the fold, and cut. Carefully cutting, trying to save our scrap. But you know, if children cut this off, the scrap can still be used again, and I'll show you how that works. So I'm going to cut that until it's completely done. I have one already started. I'll finish up for you right here. This is done exactly like the one I just did there. And we're going to lay it down and see what we think of it on the black. It's a beautiful flower. And we're also going to lay it down and see what we think of the scrap or the negative space. And then we'll attach these two, and I'll show you how the panel looks when it's done. Again, just a line that touches every part of the negative space shape there. And I'm going to pinch this again, so I just kind of get a sense of where the middle of the black paper is. I have a sense of where my middle is here with the flower, and I'm going to put it down right on top and smash. Pretty good, huh? Now we're going to connect these so we have a negative and positive panel. And that's not hard to do, just a little bit of glue underneath. Or like this. So this is our early childhood version, simpler, and this one does not have any insect in it. For really young kids, I would ask them if they'd like to, they could actually add something else. So for the more advanced one, we're going to look over here again and see how I've folded the paper in half and how I'm going to try to draw a much more complicated leaf shape. You could do a palmate leaf, which would be one big leaf shape. It still has to be thinking symmetrically, thinking of what half looks like. And sometimes I'll bring in, it's great to bring in the leaves from wherever you live and put a piece of paper over half of a leaf or half of a compound leaf or a branch and have the kids visualize what it would be to draw just half. So anyway, I'm going to attempt this and give you a couple of tips on that so that we get a positive shape and a negative space. So join me over here. I need to sit down. It's a little trickier. So once again, for this more complicated one, you'll need your beautiful tool paper in any color family that you like, 12 by 18, and fold it in half, crease it. And I learned the hard way that you're going to need to make space for these drawings so they don't hit each other and you can still cut out the scraps. So my suggestion would be to make a long line that will be your stem, and then to do no more than 3 sort of branches full of leaves off of that. Then you'll have space. Here's what I mean. So I'm going to come up here and form a leaf. Again, I want to make sure I leave space here because I want to have my scrap work. And I'm going to try another one. But now notice here, I don't have too much space in here. I need to be thinking of that as I come up here, where that other leaf can fit. So with 6th graders and 5th graders, this was a great challenge that they love. And they actually afterwards said, do we get to take these home? Because once it's done, they get it and it's really a beautiful piece. And then here I think I'll go right off the top with one. So this is what I've accomplished in the drawing. And now the cutting begins. So this is something that takes some care, and turning the paper while you cut, making sure that you're doing a good job of following your lines, saving that scrap so it's one of those beautiful design elements that you'll use and glue down to the black. And I'll stop there because I have one that I'm going to finish up here that I started just a little while ago. It's coming along, done exactly the same way. Let me finish it up for you and show you how I glue this more complicated one. Then we'll make a bug. And then on this last little piece, I'll come in from the top, finish it up like this. Now let me stand up here and put these on like I did the last one and see what you think. This paper is a special paper I made. It has 2 color families on it. I thought you'd like to see that because it makes a pretty amazing flower. Let's lay that one down and I'll see what I have for my negative shape, negative space. But you can see how tricky this would be if you had to wrestle this with glue and then somehow put it on this way. So we're going to try to glue it just exactly the other way. I'm really liking this one. Look at this. Let me show you both. Okay, I'll glue it and then we'll add a camouflaged bug. Now let's put it together. And this is a good time to tack any things that don't appear to be sticking down completely, but I don't mind if they do a little bit. It's kind of nice, like a real leaf. Under. And pull it together. And let me lay it down now and we'll go and learn how to make a camouflaged bug. And I think I'll set that bug right here because if I'm going to camouflage it, I have to use the same color family. And this is a model of the bug. I want to make sure that if you attempt this, I want to make sure you have all the correct insect parts. That would be a head, thorax, and abdomen. And you can see I did that by folding it symmetrically, like right here, my little bug, and making a head, thorax, and abdomen. An adult bug insect has wings. And you can see that right here I folded a piece of paper and I have a couple of pretty cool looking little wings for my tiny bug. But remember, insects have 6 legs coming out of the thorax. And when I check your work, if you say, "Teacher, I'm done," I'll say, "Let's see if I agree." I want to see that those legs, even if insects look like the legs are coming out of the head, sometimes they have these 2 up here that go like this. They are not. They're all coming out of the middle section, the thorax. There will be antennae and compound eyes. You can't see them here, but there are circles. And I have compound eyes. So I've got this guy started. And I'm going to have 2 big compound eyes. And I'm going to have these wonderful little wings that I made. And obviously what's missing is the legs and the antenna. And so I'm going to get to work on those. But before I do, I want you to look over here. You can hardly see this bug. This is a good example of a camouflaged bug. So if I were going up to the student and I'm going to say, just say check if I can see these, if you've got these things, I would say antenna, and he would say check. I'd say wings on the adult, check. Head, thorax, abdomen, check. And 6 legs coming out of the thorax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. All right, I'm going to get to work here and make my camouflage bug. Let's see. Okay, this way and under. I'm going to make that kind of a zigzag one, folding it so that they pop. Same with this one. And fold it. Okay, now I want to put it right onto the plant panel so it's camouflaged. I'll just put a little touch of glue, and obviously a lot of it is still wet, so I want to make sure that I don't pick it up before it's stuck. And let's pick it up part way so you can take a look. And that is a pretty good plant panel with a camouflage bug. If you were wanting to do it as a contrast, can you imagine taking that beautiful purple bug and putting it onto a green so that the bug itself would be a different color family? That's what I mean by contrast. But in this case, our goal was hiding in plain sight a camouflage bug on negative and positive plant panels, symmetrical. So in this case, we have a symmetrical early childhood version and a more advanced symmetrical cut with multiple leaves and a beautiful bug with all the real insect parts. For now, I want to say goodbye and hope you'll join me for more projects from Annie's Art Institute.